Welcome to another tutorial at Websites for Beginners, and we're looking at the Elementor add-ons that you can get from Crocoblock. These ones are called JetElements, and today we are looking at the download button. Now, as a photographer, one of the things that you often have a problem with when working with websites is that you cannot put your 9 or 12 megabyte photo online. It's going to slow your website down. And this I learned the hard way. And that's actually how I got into website making long ago. And I uploaded these images, each one like 5 to 9 megabytes, and there were 20 of them. And I couldn't understand why my website was taking forever to load. Yep, the hard learning process. The download button, on the other hand, allows you to upload a very low resolution and small image, and then you can put the download there for people if they want to download the bigger image. Of course, not only that, you may have brochures or things like that. So let's go have a look at the download button in our Websites for Beginners tutorial for Crocoblock. You go here to JetElements if you have installed it. If you haven't installed it yet, follow the link below, go to Crocoblock and find out how you do that. And then you will see here, go to download button, or you can just type it at the top and you'll find it there. Drag it and you can just drop it there. Let's have a quick look then at the basics of this download button, and after that I will show you a little bit more fleshed out version of it. The download button, the first thing you will have to learn is that you need to actually go and have a file that you can download, and that file you need to upload to your media library. What I'm going to do is go to my media library. I'm clicking here on the hamburger menu, and then I'm going to right click on the exit to dashboard and open link in new tab. Then from here, go to my media, go to library. And I want to have people download a photo, this photo over here. If I click on it, you can see all the details over here. What I need from this image is the ID. Now there's a few ways to get the ID. One you can do is click on it, and then once you click on it up here in your address bar, you will see it has all of this, blah, 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 and then item equals 57. Now that 57 is your ID. Another way you can find the ID is by clicking over here on the list view. And then when you hover over the image, you will see here at the bottom, I cannot use the mouse now, but if you go down here, if I click and go down quickly, you will see it shows also 57. And that is the ID of this image in your media library. So we go to Elementor Home, click back here, and then go click on our download button. And in the download ID, going to type 57. I'm going to leave the word download there because that's what I want. And I'm going to leave the size here. And you can see after I've given it the ID, it updated automatically and said that image is 79 kilobyte. Of course, that's very small. Who cares about that? And that's it. So from here, if you go and you update it and then you go and preview it, you can already see that your download is working, and you can download PDFs, you can download Word, Excel, anything that can go into your media library, it can go. Click on it and you will see there it downloads. Everything works perfectly. Let's just style the button a little bit so you can get an idea of how that works. I'm going to leave the icon on this download one. I like it. For the style, let's go first into our background. And this is where I want to show something a little bit different. Instead of just choosing one solid color, I'm going to use a gradient. And the gradient I'm going to do is from black. And then for my second color, I'm going to choose gray. And just look at that effect over there from the black to the gray, how nice that looks. And then, of course, the next thing you can do, let's close that, is go over to hover, and then you can change it. So I'm going to add another gradient. This time I'm going to choose black again, but I'm going to reduce the opacity to around here. And then for the second color, I'm going to choose that gray, and I'm going to reduce the opacity also around the 50% mark. So if I hover over it, you can see how it changes. Another interesting thing that we can do here is a shadow, box shadow. Now the shadow only appears, let's put it back on normal. First go to normal and then click on box shadow. And I think that should be fine. And for horizontal, I'm going to add in 3. And then for vertical, also going to add in 3. I like 3, 3. It just gives that to the right, to the bottom, 135-degree kind of look to it. Very, very nice. Look at that. That's looking good. That's styling done well. So just remember that gradient trick I showed you. It looks good like that. Sometimes people forget to use a solid color and they always think, how come on other websites it looks so good? And it's just that slight tint of a gradient. So remember, if you use another color, let's say for example you go for this dark green, the bottom you then choose a lighter green, and again you will not even notice it. You can even reduce it a little bit more, bring in opacity. You see there again that slight tint of difference in there. Nicely done. And that's how it works. Let's go look at a real life situation. I'm going to delete this one, add a new section, and I'm going to add 2 columns here. And on the right side, I will start by adding an image. So go here to my basics, grab image and drag it in. And then from here, I'm going to choose this pottery image that we have here. And that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. On this side, I'm going to add, first of all, a divider. And the divider you will find is part of the basic free Elementor stuff. So I grab a divider. Then after that, I want to add a heading. And then, heading in, drag it there. And then I'm going to drag in a text editor under that. And then I want to add 2 buttons. What we have here is a pottery class. So at this pottery class, they are teaching you how to do pottery. And so there's a brochure that we want to download, and then also a pricing for the classes. You know, how much do you have to pay for that? So I want 2 buttons and I want them next to each other. And the best way to do that is to add over here under the basic inner section. And the inner section is going to automatically give me 2 columns, and I'm going to leave it at that. So let's start styling all the way from the top. Now the first thing I want to do with this column here is I'm going to right click and say edit column, and what I want to do here is change the content position to middle so that all of this can go into the middle, and that is the first thing I want to do. Next, let's go style our divider. Going to keep it at solid. I'm going to make the weight about 3 pixels, make it a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to reduce the width. Let's reduce it all the way down here to 5%. I want to give it a color, and the way I'm going to do that is by using a Chrome extension up here called Color Picker Eyedropper. If I click on it, this eyedropper will give me the ability to hover over any image and select a color from it. So I want to use a, rounded chocolate, cocoa. Is it cocoa? It's too light for that. I'm going to click on it, and then you see it gives me the hex code. Control C or Command C. And then if I go over here, close it out first, and I click on the color and I paste it. Right there you see I have added that color there very, very nicely to it. And I want to reduce that spacing at the top and the bottom, so I'm going to reduce the gap all the way to 0. Let's put in 0 over there. Right. Next thing I want to do, let's go and change the heading, and it says our classes because this is for our pottery. And let's style this as well. I'm happy with this. So let's go over to the style area, and then I'm going to put it on black. For the color typography, let's go for a font called Hind. And I just do that. And I'm going to put it on about 600 weight. That's already there. And let's transform it to uppercase. And that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. For this text, just leaving that non-descriptive, useless text there. Not going to do much about that. And now, what I want to do is add a download button for the brochure of all the classes we have. Going back up here, and this time I'm going to type in download, and you will see it gives me the download button. Drag it in here. I want 2 buttons. On this side, I want the one for the brochure, and on this side, I want the one for the pricing. But what I'm going to do is style this button first, and then I'm going to copy it. So let's start styling it, and I'm not going to worry about this content part first. I'm going to go to the styling, and let's increase the icon size a little bit. You can see there the download button. Going to keep it on the left, and this is not going to change much. I'm going to keep it on the left as well. Then from here, for the background, what I want to do is I want to reduce it to no background. So I'm going to drag down my opacity until there is nothing. And then next we're going to start styling. Hey, wide. Oh, let's do that again. I did something. Ooh, go back to that. And there it is. Right? Okay. Should be okay. Why does that? Let's do it again. Okay. And let me. Okay. There we go. Got it. Got it. Heaven knows why I did that. Next, we're going to go for the border. So you go for border type and choose solid, and nothing happens. You have to give it a width, and I'll give it 3 pixel width, and still nothing happens. You have to add a color. Remember that color I chose earlier from over here. I'm going to paste it again here, and we get that color. So good for that. Next is the inside, which is called the button label. You will see here button label. And this one I'm going to keep black. So now it appears there. Let's go to the button icon. And this one I'm going to choose that color that I had just drawn from here. Paste it again, and I get that. And then finally, what they call the button sub label. I'm also going to leave it at black. Let's go and style then just quickly the button label text. So you go to button label, typography, and then from here, I'm just going to leave it at the default, but I'm going to choose the weight a little bit around 300. Yeah, I like that. And then for the transform, let's make it uppercase and give it a little bit of spacing. I think that is too big. Let's choose it around 16. Maybe it was at 16, I don't remember. Letter spacing, going to increase it a little bit. And I like that. That is good enough. So now we have styled our button, and I want to leave it like that. Even for the hover, I think that's good enough. So next, what we want to do is add the content. But before I do that, I'm going to duplicate it. Right click, duplicate. Then click on it, drag it in over here. Let's go back to the first one. Download ID. So now we have to go and find the ID again. This is going to be my brochure. So I'm going to first change the download link text here to brochure, and then the download subtitle. This is, I believe, now I have to remember, is this a PDF file? Let's go have a quick look here. Where is my media? The brochure is a PDF. Yes. So I'm going to here type in .pdf so that people know it is a PDF file, and it should update there. Good. That looks pretty nice. And then I have to go get that download ID, go back to my media library, click here on the brochure. And once I click on it, it should open up here, and it gives me this ID. If you look here in the address bar of 60. If I then also just go back, let me go check what is my pricing. Click on that, and it gives me 61. So brochure 60, pricing 61. So when we return, download ID for the brochure is 60. I'm going to add that, and I'm done. That is the beautiful part. There's nothing more I have to do with this one. Let's go to the second button. Click on it. Remember, the ID is 61. We're going to call this pricing. And this is a Word document, so .doc, and I'll even add their Word. It's actually .docx. Yeah, well. Final few things for those people who are interested in this kind of design is, at this moment, this doesn't look good to me. The first thing we have to do is go here to our column of these two and click on it. Oops, duplicate. I always click on duplicate. Click on edit section. And what you want to do here is go to columns gap. This is basically the padding inside the columns. And I'm going to choose that and change that to no gap. So now you can see that this button is aligned all the way to the left. I like that. Next thing is I'm going to draw this one closer to that one. That I'm just doing manually. You can measure it with your eye. The next problem that a column does is it doesn't give you the flexibility over the spacing between these widgets or elements. You have over here, you have that divider, then you have this heading, you have the text, and then you have your buttons over here. And you would like to space them a little bit more. Now, there is an automatic spacing applied between these widgets in your column. So I'm going to right click here and choose Edit Column. And then widgets space is set at 20 pixels. I'm going to type in the 0, and you can see they all move closer to each other, removed all of that. And of course, this is super horrendous. Who wants that? So now you can either go and play around with the padding and the margins on each of these. I like to add a spacer. It's something that I've grown used to. So I'm going to add a spacer between all of them. So a spacer there, and I'm going to add another spacer here and one more spacer over here. Okay, and then from here, your spacer gives you the flexibility. I'm going to just type in 10. For this one, I think I'll go for 20, maybe 25. And then, no, I'm going to make that actually bigger. Let's make that 35. And then this one should be a little bit smaller, so I'll make that 30. Click on it first. Click on it. There we go. And 30. All right. Let's update it here and then go view. So you can see it looks pretty tremendous. This is a very nice way. I love the download button. And then as we update it, there we go. And now you can click on it and you will see how perfectly it works. Just downloaded the brochure in PDF and my pricing over here. This is as wonderful as it gets. And I hope you can find functions for it. If you have any kind of business or organization that needs something like a schedule, or it has a brochure or pricing, this button is awesome. Like I said, the first time I came across it was in my own photography, which is one of my hobbies. And I wanted to have the ability to allow people to download high resolution pictures without slowing down my website. And for that, I had uploaded the low resolution and the small file, and then I would give them the download option, which was the high resolution. Great option. And you need mostly plugins for this, but what Crocoblock JetElements allow you to do is to have this as an add-on within Elementor. Perfecto. Right, leave any suggestions or recommendations below and hope that this video was useful to you. This is JP here at Websites for Beginners.